Hello and welcome. This is Christina Hills, and you are here on how to use Google Calendar. Today's training is going to teach you how to use Google Calendar for your personal life and your business. So let's talk about digital calendars versus paper calendars. So for many, many years, I used a paper calendar. I carried it around with me, and I loved it, and I held it, and I caressed it, and all of that nice stuff. But if I ever lost my paper calendar, there's no backup. There's no, how do I find what's going on? And so, because of that vulnerability of losing a calendar, a friend of mine recently lost her calendar and she was driving all over town trying to remember all the stores and coffee shops she had been to. So, I no longer use a paper calendar, and because of that reason, I recommend not just having everything in a paper calendar. I recommend having a digital calendar. And this is a screenshot of Google Calendar. Now, there's different kinds of digital calendars. What you're going to learn about today is Google Calendar, which lives online. And it doesn't matter if you have a Mac or a PC, or if you go back and forth between a Mac and a PC, it works on any platform. And here is a screenshot of the desktop, and then here's a little picture of it on a mobile device. Now, there's other digital calendars. I call these desktop calendars. iCal on the Mac and Outlook on a PC desktop. These ones typically just live on the machine that they are installed on. I know there are ways to synchronize iCal with Google Calendar and probably Outlook with Google Calendar or other online synchronization tools. Back when I switched to Google Calendar, and I don't remember the year, I'm going to guess it was probably around 2008, somewhere around there. I used to use Outlook and I dropped it. I stopped using it because I needed a calendar system that my VA and I could both access at the same time. So we are focusing on Google Calendar. And if you're listening to this and you don't use Google Calendar, you may either decide, hey, I think I'm going to start using it, or the things you learned today you might be able to integrate into iCal or whatever else you're using. So, Google Calendar is free. You can have different colored calendars. You can share each calendar with a different group of people, and it can be viewed on multiple devices. So let's just first start with, how do you get to Google Calendar? So the way you get to Google Calendar is you go to calendar.google.com, and if you already have Gmail, then you have a Google account. So in order to use Google Calendar, you have to have a Google account. So you would sign in by putting your Gmail address in, or you would create an account if you don't yet have Gmail or any other kind of Google account. So the next screen is on if you had clicked this create an account. If you didn't have an account, you want to create an account, then here you put in your first name, last name, and you pick a username to be your Gmail address. You can also use your current email address instead, but I use Gmail. I think it's a good idea to get a Gmail. And then you pick a password and you confirm. So you can use an existing email address if you don't want to create a Gmail. I've never done that, but you can try it out. So it's very easy and quick to sign up for a Google account. So I'm going to jump right in and talk about creating events in Google Calendar. So once you're in Google Calendar, up in the upper left, and I will demo this live, you click on the Create button, and once you click on the Create button, up pops a dialog box with some different things to fill in. So let me walk you through those different parts. So you want to put the title in, like in this instance is Get a Haircut. And you want to pick the date and the time, and there can be an end date as well, but you pick basically the date and the time. If it's going to repeat or not, and I'll demo that live. Then these other things are all optional. So you can add a location, so you can put in the location of your hair salon if you want to. You don't have to put that in. You can decide if you want to have reminders. So do you want to get an email reminder? And you can add as many notifications as you want. So you can have it 30 minutes before it reminds you, or another one that's 10 minutes before. And these can come in as emails or little pop-ups on your smartphone. And then if you have any notes, you can write notes down here. And you can change the color, but I'll talk about that later. So here are the things I'm going to do in my demo. I'm going to create a single event. I'll create a full day event. I'll create a recurring event. That's something that would repeat. And a multi-day event, an event with a day blocked out. I'll duplicate an event. I'll show notifications and reminders and location. So let me go ahead and jump into my demo. I'm going to get out of PowerPoint and I'm going to come over to Google Calendar. And one of my students volunteered that we can use her calendar to demonstrate this. So I am going to create an event. There's two ways to do it. You can click on here, or you could just click into the date you want to do it. So let's click on Create, and it pops up Add a Title, so it makes it really quick, or I can go to more options. So let me put in Demo Google Calendar, right? And I can just hit Save, and that pops that on my calendar. Now I could click on it if I want to, let me just say got it, if I want to edit this, and I can add other things in. So maybe I want it to go for 2 hours, and maybe I want to put notes here, and you can add a location or not, and maybe I want to set the notification to 10 minutes, and I'll click Save. So I now have Google Calendar demoed. Let me do this one more time. So I could put in buy food for party. Now, if I know there's a lot I want to put in here, I would go straight to more options down here. And I'm going to buy food for the party. I'm going to pick a different date. So I click on this date and it gives me this option. So maybe I'm going to buy the food for the party on Thursday. And now I want to set what time I'm going to do this at. Maybe I'm going to do that in the morning. And buy food for the party, it'll probably take me an hour. If there's a store where I want to go to buy this, parties, Party City. Maybe I want to go to Party City. Sometimes when you start typing, it will fill out the rest of it. And let's see, I want a notification 30 minutes. That's fine. Maybe I think I'll be super busy, so I want a second notification. I'll set that up. Oh wait, that was already set. It added it up here. Maybe I want it to be 15 minutes. So I'm going to get 2 notifications, and maybe I want an email notification. And any other notes, buy plates, buy spoons, buy baked ham. All right, so this is optional. if you want, and you can click save. So now I have buy food for party. So this, what we're looking at, this is Rivian's personal calendar. Now, I happen to find this yellow kind of hard to read. This is the color of the calendar. So I'm going to change this color to, I'll change it to a purple. I think that's nicer. It's easier to read. So this is how you change the color of the calendar. You click on it and you can change the color of the calendar. Now, if you want to, see I clicked in somewhere, so I'll just X out. If for some reason I want to change the color of this particular event, I can do that. So over here, I change the color for the whole calendar. If I want to change the color of one particular event, I would click on it and then I would edit it. So I'm going to edit this, and then I might change it to green. So, and you can also right click to change the color. So you can right click and change the color if you want. So, and see I clicked away and it thinks I'm adding something new. So here I am, and I'll change views in a bit. The calendar is purple, but I've decided that this event is going to be green. Now you might be thinking, well, Christina, why did you decide that? It's really up to you. You might color code certain things. Maybe you would color code your personal, again, this is personal calendar. I haven't added a second calendar. This is one calendar. It's her main calendar. You might decide anytime you're doing something sort of out of your home or out of your office that maybe you change it to a different color. Now, what I want to show you next is a recurring, I'll show a full day event. All right. So at 11 o'clock, we're going to buy food, but maybe we want to set a full day event. So let me click on that and I'll put prepare for party. And let's go into the full day event because we want this to be an all day event. So let's click save. So when you set an all day event, it shows up at the top here. So this is the event for the whole day, and this is at 11 o'clock. And I could always right click and make that green. So this lets me know on Thursday, I want to know this day is for preparing for the party. So that's a full day event. And here, see, I just got a little notification that this was coming up. So that's what that notification is. So I'll just say okay. Now let's say I wanted to block the whole day out, right? This is a full day, and when I change views, this will show up. It'll be easier to follow why I have this here. But let's say I want to block the whole day. So from 9 to 5, I just want to plan for the party. So I'm going to add that event. Now, since I'm comfortable with Google Calendar, I rarely click on this plus. I just click right into where I want to do something. So I'll put block off for party prep. And I'm going to block this off. Now you could click to more options, or you can click in here and maybe I'm going to block out 7 hours for party prep. So I'm blocking off these 7 hours. Now let's say I'm like, oh, you know what? I need more time for the party prep. I can click and drag. You see that? And it drags. It increases the time. Now I'm in California, and so this is setting this up as California time. You can change the time later in the settings. All right, maybe I want that to be shorter, and I just click and drag, but I don't want to start at 9, I want to start at 10. So I can click and drag this down to 10 o'clock, or I can click on it and I can edit this and I can change the time this way. So maybe I won't start till 10:30, and it automatically adjusts the end time. I can shorten that up. So as you see, I'm creating an event. There are different ways to edit it. You can click and drag. Maybe I want to move it to this day, so you can move things around. It's really quite easy to work with. So I'm going to block this off for party prep, and maybe I'll make that green as well, right? So my brain sees, oh, this is everything with green. Now you don't have to block the whole day off. It's just if that helps you in your brain, you can also have it up here as a little reminder. So these are more like titles and reminders. Now let me show another thing you might want to do is create a recurring event. So let's say every Monday morning I have to take the trash out. I'll click on here and I'll say take out trash bins. Now some people are thinking, oh gosh, Christina, why are you putting that on your calendar? I mean, you just know it anyway. I don't know. For some people it helps to have this kind of a reminder. This is just an example. So let's come into more options. So what I'm going to do now is set a recurring event that repeats. So right now it doesn't repeat, but you can decide I want to have this repeat weekly on Monday. So I'll click that and then I'll click save. So now every Monday, let's go to the next week, there's a take out the trash. I'll go back and I'll show more when I do views. So you could have this, let's edit it. So this is going out weekly on Monday. You could have it go monthly on the second Monday, annually, so you can put, birthdays in here, or every weekday, Monday to Friday, or custom. So that is a recurring event. Now notice, once the date has passed, see how it's kind of grayed out? It's really helpful to when you're looking at things, if it's already passed, it's grayed out. So if I put in here, prepare for webinar, and I'll click save, see how it's grayed out because it's already passed? And this line here shows us where we are now. All right, before I get out of this demo, let me show a multi-day event. So let's say preparing for the party. Let's say the party is going to be Friday night at 8. So we'll put party, and let me hit save, and let me color code that. So let's say I really want to spend 2 days preparing for the party. I can edit this, and instead of starting on the 17th, maybe I'm going to start on the 16th. Now notice how it updated both dates. So I just click in here again, and now it's a 3-day event. See, so now it's stretching across 3 days. So this is a full day event stretching across 3 days. So as you're watching me, you're probably thinking, ooh, I can see how I would use this. Let me show you another thing. Let's edit this, block off for party prep, and I can change the date here. So I'm going to start on the 16th. So the 16th and the 17th, I want to block off for party prep. Now, that took my blocking and put it up here. Sometimes I don't really like it that way. So let me go back and put this back on the 17th. I like it more so I can see it visually this way. So this is like headlines up here and visually this way. But maybe I want to do 2 days worth, I can edit this. Click over here. I'm going to edit it. Instead of editing it, I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to change that now to the 16th. So I've duplicated it. So I duplicated an event and it's 2 days. So if I visually want to see it sort of with the time all blocked out, I do it this way. If I want to have it more like a headline, it's up here. Let me show you about deleting event. So let's say I put this on, but you know what? I'm not going to do that thing. You just click on it and you hit the trash, and that deletes the event. So pretty easy to delete an event. All right, let me edit in here, just make sure I've covered everything. So notice when you click on it, you get this little summary, which is really convenient. And I showed adding notifications, so those are email notifications, and I showed the location. Now, conferencing I never use. I just don't use it at all. If you don't want any notifications, just X this off and you won't get any. We'll save and you won't get any notifications. So some people like the email notifications, some people don't. Some people like that little pop-up. It's really up to you. If you later want to add the notification, you can just say add notification. That notification was a pop-up, so I could have a pop-up or I could have it send me an email. It's really up to you. So I'll just click save. And that email is going to go to Rivian. All right, I'm going to go back into PowerPoint. And then I'll come back and do some more demos. So I just demoed how to create an event in Google Calendar. Now I want to talk about switching views, how to switch views in Google Calendar. So I was showing you before the week view. This is the month view, and up at the top is a little drop down. But there's these keyboard shortcuts, and that's what I use. So M will show you the month view, and here is a month view. The week view, that's what we were looking at. You would click this drop down. W is to show you the week view. So you just click W on your keypad and it'll change views. Here is the day view. The day view would be D. You type in D or you click this drop down to the day view. And the day view, you can have, prep for call, then here's the webinar, and then the recording and rendering, and then I had another prep for another call, and then I had a parent meeting, and these are two different calendars showing up, and I'll talk about multiple calendars, but D is a day view. See, I see the whole day. Then a 3-week view. I really like the 3-week view because I want to see more than just this week. So I set mine up to be a 3-week view. So it shows the day and then the next 3 weeks. And you can see here, this is a full day event that spans over a long amount of time. And then these are full day events with then the little, shows me what time it's going to be at. Then the last view I want to show before I go to the demo is the schedule view. Now I personally don't use this view very often because my brain likes the visual of a calendar, but you click the drop down to schedule or the keyboard A for agenda, and then that'll show you what is on your agenda. So for some people, their brains work better to see things listed this way. So I am now going to switch views, show you how you would switch views in Google Calendar. So I'll get out of this and go back here. So when we brought this up, it showed the week view. Here is the drop down on the upper right corner. So I'm going to switch to a month view. So now here's the month view, and we have other calendars turned on. I'll teach about that more in a bit. Today's date is highlighted and I can see what the month looks like. If I want to go to the day, then here's today. So I don't use the day view that often unless my calendar is super busy. I tend to use the week view. So as you get more comfortable, you don't need to click this drop down. I can just type M for month, W for week, X. Now her is set for 4 days, but I think I'm going to change that. Let me see where I change that. I don't have that. Go into settings, and here's how you change the time zone. Set custom view. I'm going to change that to 3 weeks. So Rivian might want to change this custom view. And now we'll just go back. So let me show how I did that. So now the custom view is 3 weeks. This you can change. But that X is your custom view. A is the schedule. And you can see the take out the trash bins. We have that as a recurring event. So let me go back to 3 week. So X is a 3 week, M is a month, W is a week, D is a day. So you can change it to however you want. This custom view, you get one custom view. You go to the settings, click to settings, and then down here under view options, you could show week numbers if you want, reduce the brightness of past events. That's how I have it set up. View calendars side by side in day view. The week starts on Sunday. Here's where Rivian, you could change it if you prefer a 2 week view. So that would be a 2 week view. Now some people I like the 3 week view, so I'll go change that back. And you can change it as much as you want. 3 week view. All right, so what's convenient about these different views, and I'll explain the difference between the 3 week and a 4 week view. So here's the month. I clicked M for month and I'm right here. If I click X, it shows me the next 3 weeks with today at the top. So I can step through to see what's happening in a 3 week view. Now, if I had changed this to 4 weeks, I'll go change this to 4 weeks. Hope I'm not moving too fast. Now this shows the next 4 weeks from wherever I'm at. So that's the difference. M is a month view showing the month of January. The 4 week view now shows the next 4 weeks. So everybody can decide how it's done. I like a 3 week view. My husband likes a 4 week view. And you can step through the next 4 weeks. And if ever you get somewhere and you're like, wow, what month is this? Just click to M for month and it's like, oh, okay, here's April, here's March, etc. So those are the different views. And then if you forget where you're at, just click on today and it bounces you back. So let's say we're looking at a week view. You go forward. You're like, let me look at this. And then you're like, oh, let me get back to today. Now I'm back to today. Hit W. Now I'm back to the week view. So I tend to look at the week view. I have my week start on Sunday and on Saturday. I know Europeans, the week starts on Monday and they put Saturday and Sunday next to it. So each person could change it to the day of the week starting however you want. And when I say just click M, that means I'm pressing M on my keyboard. So I'm in my Google Calendar. I'm in Chrome right now. I press M and that gets me the month view. Or you could come over here and click the drop down. It's just a shortcut. So my husband always clicks the drop down. I'm just clicking the keyboard to quickly change back and forth to the views that I like. All right, so that is it for the different views. You can also scroll back this way. And I think, is there a year view? There is a year view, but I've not really found it that useful. So I don't use the year view very often. I use the month and the week mostly. And this will open and close it. See up in the upper left? I like to have this on, but if you don't want that in your way, you can just click on this main menu. All right, let me get back to my PowerPoint. All right, so I just showed you how to switch views in Google Calendar on my main computer desktop. I want to show you the Google Calendar on mobile views. So this I got from Google. This is a screenshot. These pictures I took myself. So when you add something, either adding it on your phone or adding it on your desktop, it updates everywhere all at once. So this is a day view, and I could see what's going on in the day. If there's no time, then that was that full day. And here are the times listed. And then here is the month view. So I just took a screenshot from my phone. So here's the month view, and I have lots of different color coding, which I'm going to talk about next. So next what I'm going to talk about is using multiple calendars. So up until now, I've just been talking about that one calendar, which I set up for Rivian, which is her main calendar. Now I want to talk about adding additional calendars. So here's a screenshot with one calendar, and this green calendar shows all the emails that I send in a month, and I send lots of email. Now I'm going to add on a second calendar, and these are my classes, so they're in purple. And notice how there's a full day and then one with a specific time. And now I'm adding a third calendar, which is my personal calendar. So you can have different calendar layers. Think of them like layers. And you can have different access. So here on the left, my personal calendar is in blue, and then green is what I call my editorial calendar. Those are the emails that my team and I mail out through my system. That's how I'm naming it. Now let me also show you how to add other calendars. So you don't have to set up all the USA calendars. In settings, you can click on add calendar, and you can add a calendar of interest. So like Christian holidays, Jewish holidays, Muslim holidays, Orthodox holidays, regional holidays, and sports. So I'm not a sports person, so I've never tried these other calendars, but you can try them out if that's something that interests you. So these are other calendars that Google has set up that are public that you can add. Now you can also create your own calendar. So I'm going to do that for Rivian. I'm going to add an additional calendar, and it will be a public calendar. So under settings, under add calendar, you would click on new calendar, and then you're going to give it a name and a description and a time zone, and click create calendar. So I'm going to demo those two things. I'm going to demonstrate how to add an additional calendar, maybe holidays, and then I'm going to add creating a public calendar. So let me get out of this and come back over here. So first off, let's say you want to add a public calendar. Here are, and this one's already listed, and I don't remember if I turned this on for Rivian or if it came on by itself, but I can check and have it'll be visible or uncheck it. So holidays in the United States is really convenient if you live in the United States and you want to see, when daylight savings is and all these other things, tax day, Easter, etc. You can click to show these are the other calendars you've added. So I can hide those. These are Rivian's calendars. So let's go to Browse Calendars of Interest. So here are the calendars of interest. So let me show you how I got there again. In my calendar, under Add Calendar are 3 little dots. I've clicked on it, and now I'm going to click Browse Calendars of Interest. So maybe Rivian, who's very spiritual, she wants to add phases of the moon. So she can click on that. So now phases of the moon has been added for her. She can always turn it off if she wants. Or maybe she wants Jewish holidays, so she can add that. So let's go back to settings. So now holidays in the US are light green and Jewish holidays are darker green. And maybe she doesn't want to see it. She could check to turn that off. Or maybe she wants Jewish holidays, but she wants to pick blue for her color. So did you catch how I did that? This sets the color for the calendar. So if we go forward, so here's Passover, it shows the different days of Passover. So Rivian doesn't have to look this up. She has the Jewish calendar, and if for some reason she just doesn't want to view it, she can turn that off. Really easy. Same with the holidays. And then phases of the moon, maybe it's too much, maybe she doesn't want to see it all the time. She can easily turn it off, but it's still visible here. All right, so now let me get back to today, and I'm going to add a new calendar. So I'm going to say new calendar, and we're going to call this, I'll just call this Rivian's events. Rivian's events. Rivian's business events. Rivian, you can rename this later. Rivian's business events. So these will be, classes and events. That's what she wants to call it. Rivian's classes and events. So public classes and events conducted by or attended by Rivian Wolf. All right, so anybody can put in any description they want. Time zone, I'm going to set this to Pacific. Where's Pacific? Pacific time. Rivian's Central, so I'll change it to Central. Rivian is Central Time, Central Standard Time. I like to pick center. I'll pick this. I like to pick something that's, and I'll click Create Calendar. All right, so it's been successfully created. Let's go back to settings. So I want to make sure that your main calendar also is in that, yes, it's also in Central Time Zone, Chicago. Okay, we want to make sure that those are the same. So now, Rivian might decide she's going to hold a class. So Rivian, let's put in Reiki, hope I'm spelling that right, healing class. I don't think I'm spelling it right, but I'm not going to look it up. So she wants to add something to her public calendar. So she'll click this drop down to Rivian's classes and events. So that'll be a full day event. So let's duplicate this and she's going to have her class from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And I'll click Save. So we can look at the week view, and here's her class. So here's the headline so I can see it. You don't have to have that. R-E-I-K-I, I didn't spell that right. Let me edit that. R-E-I-K-I, Reiki. Okay, now where did that go? Well, I'm looking at this day. Here it is. So let me edit this too. So R-E-I, K-I. All right, so now let's look at the month view. Here's Rivian's calendar, her personal calendar, and here is her public calendar. We haven't made it public yet, but you can turn off everything and she can just see when am I holding my classes. So, or she can turn on her own calendar. Now let me show how to make this one public. And I know there's going to be a lot of questions, so don't worry about having questions. I'll answer questions at the end. To make this calendar public, I click on Settings and Sharing, and I click on Make Available to the Public. So making your calendar public will make all events visible to the world, including Google search. Are you sure? And you say OK. So now the public can see all event details. All right, so the public will see everything. And that will come in handy when we add it to your website. So let's say she's going to do this class Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to duplicate this and I'll put this on Thursday, and I'm going to duplicate this and set that to Thursday. So this healing class meets twice. So you might want to change this to, dash session 1, and see, and then this one, we'll edit this to dash session 2. So that's up to you. All right, so I showed how to make a calendar public. I think I want to move on to inviting someone. So I still have a little bit more. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. So I demonstrated how to create additional calendars. You can not have additional calendars. You don't have to have additional calendars if you don't want to. But it's under Settings, New Calendar. You set the calendar. You can set the time zone. So you can add calendars like the public ones, like the holidays, or your own. I want to talk about inviting someone to a specific event. So, and this is also optional. You don't have to do this. But I wanted to show you the possibilities. So let's say I create an event. I'm going to meet with my virtual assistant, and I want to invite her. The purpose of inviting somebody to your event is if they use Google Calendar, it will automatically drop onto their own calendar. So it's very convenient, but it really only works if you use Google Calendar. I have not tested it with other calendars, but that's what the intention is. So I'll show you how to invite someone. So let's say, let's look at our week view by hitting W and click on Today. Maybe I want to invite my friend to come with me to buy food for the party. So I can click on here, and then I could just type in someone's name. Christina at websitecreationworkshop.com. now I can say whether guests can invite other people or see a guest list. So you can add multiple guests. I don't, maybe Rivian doesn't want me to be able to modify the event, or maybe she doesn't want me to be able to invite others. So I would uncheck that. And then I would click, but I could see the guest list of who's coming. So this is to invite guests. Now you don't have to do this. I only do this if I'm meeting with someone. So I'm going to click Save, and then it says, would you like to send invitation emails to your Google Calendar guests? So you can decide whether to send invitations or not. So now there's nothing really that indicates that Rivian's invited Christina, but if I click on here, I can see there's 2 people coming and we're waiting for my confirmation, right? And so the other person gets a confirmation kind of like this, yes, no, or maybe. So that's inviting other people. I don't do that very often, but I wanted to show that to you. Then the last thing I'm going to do, and I know there's going to be lots of questions, the last thing I want to do, oh no, there's a few more things I want to do. Okay, let me pause. I want to talk about public versus private calendars. So I talked a little bit about that. I want to talk more about it. In each calendar you create, and they're on the left-hand side, you can come to Settings and Sharing, and I showed how to make it available to the public. You can also share calendars with specific people. And I've got a lot of people on my team, so there's a lot of folks listed. But you can, if you want to, let other people make changes to the events or just see the events. So maybe you want to create another calendar, but you don't want it available to the public. You only want it available to specific people. So I'm going to demonstrate how to make a calendar public and give other people, maybe people on your team or your spouse or your family, access. But remember, you don't have to share your calendars with anybody. This is only for people who are collaborating. So coming back over to Rivian, let me look at the month view. Maybe she has a virtual assistant who she wants to be able to add items to maybe other classes to her calendar. So she'd come over here to Settings and Sharing, and she can share with a specific person. So maybe, and I'll just use myself, Christina add. And now she can decide, see event details, make changes to events, or also manage the sharing. So if she wanted to let me make changes to her events, she would click that, or just to see event details. So that is up to you to change the permissions you want someone else to have, right? So maybe she wants me to be able to add things. So if you're working with a virtual assistant or another business partner, you might want them to make changes to the event. So the following people do not have Google Calendar. Would you like to invite them? So this email address doesn't have Google Calendar. You could invite. So people, in order to share with people, they have to have Google Calendar. Now, if I set up Google Calendar with this email address, it would work. So hopefully that makes sense. Google wants everybody in their same kind of Google world. So this is how you share with specific people. Here's how you make it available to the public, where the public can see, but here's how collaborators can potentially make changes. So that is under Settings. And so here are my conclusions in wrapping up. So the benefits of Google Calendar: updating is easy and fast. You can access your online calendar from anywhere in the world. And when I was on a recent flight, I did not have internet access, but my calendar worked. I was able to see things on my calendar, so it was really convenient from my phone. I could look at what were the things I had coming up. You can share your calendar with the public, team members, and family. So Rivian could make a calendar just for family events and share that with other people. You can have multiple calendars for business and personal, each of them color coded for easy identification. Online calendars can send you reminders via email, pop up, or text. Now, when the way I have it set up, the notification does pop up on my phone automatically. And you can integrate Google Calendar with an online booking or scheduling, allowing other people to book appointments with you. So that is my how to use Google Calendar for your business or your personal life. And again, my name is Christina Hills, and I'm so glad you were able to join me and learn how to use Google Calendar yourself.